I'm just wondering, because the big rumor has been, and once again, this is all conjecture and rumor, that Daniel Craig wants this to be the Bond version of Logan. And I'm wondering if they're prepping for Bond's death in this. Like, they're actually going to kill him off. How would you feel about them killing off Bond?
Like,
I mean, they're setting up a new 007.
oh God, don't.
I'm just putting the puzzle together. There have been dark moments in the series and so forth, but there's always that wink at the end. It's a character that has endured for nearly 60 years.
Exactly. Like, and I know there's some people out there, well, even Superman dies. Shut the fuck up, okay? What I'm trying to tell you is this. Gentlemen prefer blondes. Demos prefers Bonds, okay? And when
You should specify that.
in terms of movies, you damn homophobe. No, what I'm trying to say is this. Bond,
What about blonde Bonds?
the only way, easy kid. The only way Bond should die is in retirement, like in sort of a Bruce Wayne, Batman Beyond kind of situation. Him dying in action or to sacrifice himself, that ain't the guy. That ain't what he does. That's not his character. He's not meant to be wholesome.
No, that's been my argument this whole time. And the other thing is that, yeah, I mean, I don't think you should apply too much logic to this series and the chronology of this series. Just obviously, there's no way that this character has been a spy for 60 years and he's still 40 years old. There's an element of fantasy in this series, and by killing him off, you destroy that fantasy. And it's not despite the fact that I am throwing the word fantasy out there, he's still not a supernatural character. You can't find a weird way to bring it back. If anything, you're gonna have to sell that shit really, really hard in order for anybody to buy a resurrected cyborg Bond. I don't want to see that. Do you really want to see a James Bond film with no James Bond?
No.
It's not a James Bond film at that point. No, I mean, yeah, 007 is a moniker. I get that. That's the only thing I actually would be okay with it being passed on to another character, because it's a title, it's a designation. It's not James Bond. There's a reason why they've kept this character ageless, and not just him. Moneypenny has been ageless. There's a mainstay of characters that have always been with Bond that share a lot of the chronological issues the Bond has had.
There's only two ways I can think of where you could successfully kill Bond, in my opinion. One is, like I cited Batman Beyond. Demos, to hell with it. Make a Bond Beyond, basically. And you don't have to call it that, but Bond Beyond as a concept, where he's the old freaking crusty guy that just happens to come across, the young version of whatever, trains him right, and keeps the communicator in his ear, in the ear of the would-be, I forget the guy's name, who actually is the Batman in Batman Beyond, Terry, what's his butt, but
Will Friedle from Boy Meets World. We'll stick with that.
Well, that's the voice, right?
Yeah.
Him being in the would-be 007's ear. If it's a female, it can't operate the same, just like Terry doesn't operate the same as Bruce. I mean, there's certain aspects where they're very different. Bruce is a damn battle tank compared to Terry, who's much more finesse and slithery and what have you. Or you have a version of the Bond series where eventually Bond becomes M, and he eventually dies being assassinated while in that role.
I don't want to see a Bond series where Bond is. I'd rather see, Lewis Maxwell who played the original Moneypenny from the series start up until the end of Moore's run. So she played she played Moneypenny from 1962 until 1985, and she wanted the big reveal to be that she became the new M.
Okay, well, even that. But what I'm saying is Bond becomes M, and you get to see a lot of the funny of him being on the other side of the table now, and like how much of a pain in the ass it actually is.
That would actually be a fun just for one film, maybe just seeing.
I would say at least two, and then like and just kind of like with with what they do in Rocky 3, where like he's training up the next big 007 or whatever, and he's going into the next big mission, and then he dies because reasons, be them natural or by way of the opponent being evil or something. And, the new Bond, the Bond beyond, whatever you want to call him, or would struggle with it.
I understand the Bond series has always kind of played with the times and so forth. Actually, it was one of the reasons I find the series as a film connoisseur an interesting study, essentially seeing how essentially this same type of film has evolved for nearly 60 years with the changes to cinema, the way you film it, obviously cinematography, editing styles, action styles, music styles. It is fascinating to study it from that point of view. But one of the reasons it is because of the endurance of this fantasy character. I go back to what I said earlier. You kill the character, you kill the endurance of this series. I don't want to watch a non-James Bond 007 film, period.
Yeah, well, and here's the thing, man. Like, this is kind of the arrogance of current generation, what have you. I mean, I'm not meaning for this to sound like, these damn millennial speech. I don't mean it like that. But there seems to be a prevailing thought out there that this particular time we're in now is where we're going to achieve the most where we ever have. And I refuse to see the bar set that low, okay? Like, you're going to try to tell me that people in the future won't be able to do bigger and better with Bond? No way in hell. Are you kidding me? Like, he hasn't even actually legitimately have a flying Aston Martin yet. Bullshit. To think that we have reached the apex of Bond just because you think so, and he may violate some of your SJW rules, is complete and total, just not just arrogance, but it's just so much disrespect to what the character actually is. And listen, I'm not even a Bond guy like you, but who the fuck are you to end a character that's endured this long? That is not your place. That is not your decision, and the public certainly hasn't made it.
With the exception of it's going to generate a lot of headlines for this one particular movie. So you're going to be sacrificing something for the short term, which I think is a mistake. The other thing is, and I'm taking a step back and just looking at film as a whole, one of the reasons I think that people really enjoy the Marvel films, for instance, is that they are pure escapism. They are. You go there, you just have fun. They hit some darker moments. True. Some characters do die eventually there too. It's not the same as Bond because you have such an arsenal of characters. It gives them the ability to be able to do that. But at the end of the day, even though they do all that, just go and just have some fun. Bond films, despite hitting some darker moments, they've always just been pure escapism. You can go and watch and just relax and have fun. They're not high art. A few of the films have been able to claim that and be true contenders in the world of cinema. And I think as we continue doing our Bond series and required viewing, we're going to nail which ones those are. So I'm not going to give it away. But make sure you watch the third episode of that series coming up, which isn't necessarily Goldfinger. Everything doesn't have to be dark, for God's sake. I want some light out there. Right now, people believe that the world is dark enough as it is. Give us a freaking ray of hope, or at least some escapism away from politics and everything. I just want to go watch a goddamn film.
Hilarity by default killed him about 20 times.
Our series, James Bond Dies, oddly enough, which is funny. I thought that would have dropped the plug at one point earlier in this episode. But in the book, in the novel From Russia with Love, Ian Fleming does kill him off at the end of that. Okay. He gets kicked with the poison shoe and he collapses to the floor, but it left it ambiguous so that you could bring him back. Now, that might be interesting if they ended with an ambiguous death. I'm not against them playing around with it. I just against them drawing any kind of finality to it.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And listen, we can even talk about Skyfall and what they do there.
If you go by on a different angle, if you look at every film since GoldenEye, he has to go rogue in every single damn film. Why is Mission Impossible called Rogue Nation? The entire James Bond series of the last 20 years should be called Rogue Agent.
Well, there's an American sect, and that's the IM Force. Bond is the British.
Is it weird for me to just ask? I want to see James Bond on a normal mission in a movie again.
Why have we not seen a novel or something where Jim Phelps and James Bond cross over? Where the f*** is that shit?
Because Tom Cruise blew him up with a helicopter and a train.
I said novel, bitch.
Which was a big slap to the face of Mission Impossible fans at the time.
Right in the face.
And right in the goddamn face with a burning helicopter and Jean Reno.
Your face! God damn it!